Hey guys, I'm Emma and I have misophonia. Misophonia is the hatred of sound, basically. It sends me into a rage if I hear something. I don't really act out in my rage. I just have to leave, or I have to do something. I have to change. I can't just sit there and take it. I've never been able to just sit there and take a noise. It started out when I was around 10 years old. It began I remember it beginning when my sister would eat cereal in the living room, and she would just be snacking on it, and I wouldn't be able to take it, and before I really understood that every noise bothered me, it wasn't just, or more noise bothered me than that, I didn't really understand it, so I would like say, Andrew, stop, 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 and she wouldn't stop, so I had to eventually start leaving the room when they would bring in the bowls of cereal. And they began to notice it, my whole family did, because I couldn't be in the same room if they were eating. And my sisters would kind of start teasing me about it, like they would purposefully eat around me or smack on their food just kind of make me mad and just to watch me see what I would do, because they thought I could control it. They thought that it wasn't my fault, but they thought it was my fault, and clearly it's not. And so people with misophonia have different triggers. I've had them ever since that moment. I think that's when it began. I'm not really sure, but that's as early as I remember it. My triggers include anything to do with the mouth, pretty much. Food inside your mouth, smacking on the gums, breathing can bother me pretty bad, and just other noises that are kind of out of place. It gets worse as the time goes on. Like the other day at church, this woman was clapping behind me and no one else was clapping, and it was kind of off rhythm, and it was really bothering me. I tried to put on my earplugs so I couldn't hear it, but that didn't work. Also, visual. I'm also very visual. When I see people smacking on their gum, I can't handle it. I usually do this to where I can't see the person smacking, and I have my earplug in on this side if I can hear it as well. But the other day at church, everyone around me seemed like had gum in their mouth, and the people beside me had the gum, so I could hear the people beside me chewing, and I could see people in front of me chewing, and I was about to have to leave because I couldn't take watching everybody chewing their gum. And my best friend, who knows that I have this, she was like, Emma, you need help. Like, she thinks I'm psycho, I think. Like, she thinks I'm crazy. So she was like, focus on something else. So I started, focusing on the preacher and taking notes. And so I kind of, I put my earplugs in so I couldn't hear the people beside me smacking, and I just try not to look at the people. It affects everyday life. It definitely does. And when I'm in class, I am constantly on the lookout for people who are about to put stuff in their mouth. I am constantly worried that someone's going to put gum in their mouth, or cough drop. Cough drops are really bad. Gum's really bad. It's all really, really bad. But it also affects my schedule, because in the mornings I do like to schedule my time around people eating. My roommate, she eats at a certain time every morning, so I make sure that I'm doing something to where I don't hear it, whether it's in the shower, whether I can put my headphones in without her singing, or whatever. I definitely have to move my schedule around to fit other people who are making the noises that I don't like. So what happened was, it was getting really, really bad because I was trying to focus. I was trying to plug my ears like this, listen to the professor, and write notes, and I couldn't do it all, obviously. And so I was telling my best friend and my roommate about it, and they're like, Emma, that's not normal. So my suite mate actually, well, my sister before has sent me like the definition of misophonia. Was like, you definitely have this, and I would laugh about it, you know, like, yeah, I definitely do. And my roommate and my suite mate did the same thing, and as it began to get worse though, like as I began to not even be able to look at people making the sounds that I hated, my friends were like, Emma, you have to research this because I really think you have it. Or my best friend, really. My roommate, she just laughs at me, which is fine. But anyways, my best friend was like, you know, get some help. So I started to research it, and now I know that I do have misophonia. I am about to go home for 3 weeks before I go to my job for the summer in June, July. I'm working in a different state, but I'll be home for 3 weeks, and in those 3 weeks at home, there's obviously going to be a lot of sounds happening. My family will probably be eating a lot, and my mom loves to chew gum, and my sister also does. And so what I want to be able to do is, there's not a cure for misophonia, but I do really want to just watch a movie with my family. I want to be able to sit down with my family and stay at the dinner table when I'm done eating and still talk to them even though they're still eating and I can still hear their sounds. I want to be able to sit in the living room and watch a movie with them. I want to be able to go on long car rides. Road trips, pretty much the worst. I dread them. If it's a long road trip by myself, I'm perfectly fine. I love it. But with other people, they are the absolute worst because you're trapped. I mean, you can't go anywhere. So I'm constantly listening to music, even if I don't I have the cordless headphones on to the radio station or whatever, and even if it's awful music, I still have to put the headphones on because I can't stand the sounds. So my family doesn't really understand my disorder. I have to tell them. I plan on telling them that I have misophonia when I get back. I'm putting together a document right now that explains it more in depth, so I don't think I'm just making it up. I probably won't even tell my sisters or my brother that I have it. I'm just going to leave it to my parents and tell them. They're not really understanding. I don't think they realize it's a disorder, so maybe their mind will change, their perspective. But in the past, they've sat me down and said, Emma, like, we don't like the fact that you can't handle these sounds. Like, you have to change yourself. It's nobody's fault but your own. If someone is making a sound that you don't like, then you have to leave the room. Don't ask them to stop making their noises, which I totally understand. I completely agree. But hopefully telling them about this, they will be able to understand. My family sometimes thinks that I'm very distant and that I don't really like to spend time with them. That's not true. I love to spend time with my family. It's all I want to do. I want to be able to do all these things with my family. I love talking with them. I love the conversations we have. My parents are wonderful. I love to be with them. I would spend all the time in the world with them. When I go home though and I'm like in my room, we're not in the same room as them, whether it's in the office or wherever, I'm not in the same room. They just think I'm distant. They think I'm, not really wanting to spend time with them, which is not true at all. That's all I want. But with this, I can't handle the noises. I want them to know that it's not them, that that makes me stay away from them. It's just the noises that they make. So I'm gonna have to tell them all of that, and I don't really know how I'm gonna do it. I'm really actually nervous. I just want them to understand that I will have to leave the room and I will have to wear earplugs in my ears, even though I'm scared to tell them. I will say this though, for all of you who do have misophonia, some things that have helped me, they say that avoidance is not good, but I absolutely love avoidance. You just leave the room, you don't have to listen to it, you don't have to put yourself through that panic attack, that anxiety. It's much better if you just leave. Maybe it might get worse and it might not help you at all, but leaving really does help. Earplugs have helped a lot. I wear them as much as I possibly can if a noise is bothering me. The other day we all got candy in one of my classes, and I definitely was having a little panic attack because I saw people starting to eat their Tootsie Rolls. Tootsie Rolls are really bad, and they're lifesaver hard candies, like hard and in your mouth, and I could hear it and it was awful. So I had both of my earplugs in. I couldn't hear the professor very well, but I could still kind of hear what she was saying, and I couldn't hear any sounds. Having both of the earplugs in, I was definitely like in my own little world. I didn't have to worry about other people putting food in their mouth or doing anything like that. I mean, the peace that I felt not worrying about other people's noises was absolutely tremendous. I recommend earplugs over anything, because you can still hear the teacher, you can still hear the professor speaking, and you can still hear people talking to you, but you can't hear the noises. It blocks out the noises. Something also that helps is headphones. If you're in a car, because cars are really close together, earphones really help. The only problem with that is they might get angry if they try to ask you a question and you're not answering because you have your earphones in, which I've dealt with that quite a bit. That goes back to they're just not understanding. They don't understand that I'm not. I have my headphones in not because I don't want to listen to them, but it's just because I can't handle the noises, and hopefully in my situation that will change. So those are just my few suggestions. Also, support group on Yahoo really helps. It's called Sound Sensitivity. So join that. It's really helped me realize that people have it much worse than I do. So that's about it, and thank you. Feel free to comment.